today, this Sunday, October 22nd. Day 3 of 24-hour cross-stitch weekend. Alara. That's an awful team to be on. Just saying. I, on the other hand, I set my alarm. I turned on my 6 a.m. alarm, and I woke up to that alarm. I turned that alarm off, and I promptly went back to sleep. It was not even a choice. It was not even a thought in my head. I was like out again. I didn't even move enough for my sleep tracker ring to register that I had woken up to turn the alarm off. Luckily, I woke up in time for what I needed to wake up for. But oh my gosh. It was like 9 hours of sleep. It's good, but I can definitely tell I haven't had like enough downtime lately. Both heading to the doctor tomorrow. That's good. You can get all betters. Yeah, I feel like it's been nonstop for a week and a half. Because it really has been, like going to Stitch West, coming back, and doing lots of vet and pet things, and before heading off to New Jersey, and then coming back and having this, and like, it's felt like nonstop, and it's been good. It's been great, really. And I've still been sleeping. But for sure, my body is like, you're not having enough downtime. So I'm like, I'll do dishes and go to the grocery store tomorrow. And kind of get back on track with. I haven't fully unpacked my bag from either trip that I just took. And I took 2 different bags, and so both of them are just like partially unpacked. It's great. It's great. You're looking forward to sleeping tonight? I don't doubt it. Hopefully you sleep tonight, though. If not, hopefully you've got, like, medications or something from the doctor tomorrow that will help all the people sleep. how's all like the new medication going currently? Because that's supposed to be helping me sleep. Hello, Steve. It's still morning for me for another 30 minutes, so I've got a bigger Starbucks than normal. Though in large part that's because I'm trying to stop a headache as well. I need my head to be in great form tonight for chorale practice because the conductor won't be there, and so I'm in charge tonight. And I'd rather not have a headache and be in charge tonight. We're a little rough today. A little bit, Steve. it's 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 good. Like, I'm definitely not complaining. I just can my body's definitely telling me like there's been too many back-to-back things with not enough um like downtime, decompression time. That's for certain. You'll be a little rougher come about 1 p.m. It's so sad how well you know when, at what point in your sleeplessness times that drain really hits. This morning I saw Kaylin briefly, and uh, and I was like, so I basically want to start a bed and breakfast business, but geared towards stitching people. And she was like, I need to know more details. And I'm like, tonight, I'll tell you tonight. And now she's super impatient, but I was like, just be prepared because I'm also going to probably say about like how much I love Steven, and she like was like, "Oh my gosh, not again." But she can't really complain cuz she likes to see that. She is happy for me and my relationship. But at least I warned her ahead of time. I think she'll really like the idea too. She really likes organization and doing organizing things. and she likes to do them for other people too. So she like prettied up my phone when I got a new phone. She was like, "Can I like organize it, make it all pretty?" And so I don't know. I told her the things that I was like, these are the apps that I grouped together, and then she like made them. She made it all pretty. Here, I'll show you my cross stitching screen. Well, like it's all color coordinated too. So here's my cross stitching is all purples, and it's got all my apps, and she put them. Um, yeah, it's all color. This one's my reading, and it's blue, and then we've got green and I don't know, pinkish, orangey, peachy. But she really likes doing things like that. Um, I feel like she's always updating her phone, but it's really only like once a month. Um, when she's like, so I'm redoing my phone again. I think she's currently in like a black and white phase or grayscale or something like that. I can't remember. But she just likes changing it up and things like that. I was asked kind of recently by somebody like like if she's shown any interest in is my here I can do some things with the sound, but I have not changed anything with okay, how's that? Is that any better? It should be a little bit better. I haven't changed anything since like yesterday, so I just since I can't hear me, I don't know what it's doing on the other side. Anyway, it was low yesterday too. Oops. Anyway, so somebody asked me recently what Kaylin's like if she had started having any thoughts about what she wanted to do as she got older or anything like that. And I was like, I mean, I think that she is, but she hasn't brought it up to me, so I'm not really sure. But I went back and talked to her about it, and she did. She brought up the organizing thing, and hey, Silver, how's the puppy doing? And that doesn't surprise me because, yeah, she liked that. It's just something that she does. So, her saying that that's something that she's thinking of being interested in a longer term does not at all surprise me. Hey, cat. Welcome to a live stream where we will talk about anything and everything. I've decided I'm really ridiculous because I put on my fleece-lined leggings. Like, I live in Virginia, and it's only October. Like, the night times aren't even dropping lower than the 40s yet. It is not cold here. But once the temperatures start dropping at all, my body goes, oh, it's cold constantly. And so, yeah, I put on fleece lined leggings and I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. um, she has had her first heat. Oh, that was my first dog, Elisar. She was spayed before she ever went into heat, and so I never had to handle one until Pip, and Pip went through 2 heats before we got her spayed because that was during a lot of the COVID lockdowns and stuff. So she was not a happy camper during those times. Hey, Becca, how are you doing? I think I stitched for like another hour last night after I stopped live streaming. I think I'm up to 14 hours, but my list is over there, so I don't know. Maybe that's what it is that it's getting colder faster. Though the spring started super early because all the trees were like starting to bloom in like February and March, when usually that doesn't start until like March into April, so. We can all be cold together. It's just, I'm wondering how I'm going to adjust to New Hampshire weather, but honestly, I'm just going to have to, like, look at my wardrobe, right? And have lots of nice layering pieces. Wool helps a lot for me. Yeah, I really can't call last year any winter. it was it really was not cold at all last year. I kind of like the predictions for this year though, with more potentiality for snow this winter. There are some very, very beautiful fall trees too. And last year it definitely we definitely went from green to brown. But this year we have a lot of like the fiery like orange and the bright reds. It's very, very lovely. A 550 purple is perfect. And the emerald green, which one's 900? 900's not an emerald color, but I think I know which one you're talking about. 909 is an emerald color. It doesn't matter. If it's like kind of like how the purple but green, I know which color you're talking about. I just don't want like hibernation winter clothes because I don't need help hibernating. I want to still feel like a human being over the winter. I have not had time yet to go look on Ravelry for pieces I can knit for like cardigans or something like that. Because having more layering pieces will help. Kaylin likes to borrow my layering pieces too. I'm like, don't you have plenty of your own? But apparently not. Kat, I do both. I have a master set of DMC, and that is right here. And I use that to stitch my bookshelf. I will also use it for any full coverage that is not really a focus yet. Like, well, all my projects that are paused. If I ever pull them out, I will use my master set. But Queen of the Night is fully kitted up with its own floss. Frodo and Galadriel has its own floss, but it's not compiled into one thing yet. So I do both. It just kind of depends on the state of the not the state, but the status of the full coverage. If I do have a project that uses like a ton of the same color, I like to get those all at once and not even use my master set for that. So I have one that's like 11 colors only, and that has its own floss that I use. Good morning, Kate. And Shauna. You're still standing upright contrary to what my doctors believe. Okay, but like, seriously, Shauna, talk to Jess, Stitches of Sass, because her numbers, I believe, got even lower than yours. I can't remember what she told me her numbers were. She had the added addition of like her autoimmune lupus stuff was like attacking her, so she has that aspect at all, but man, you don't want to get to the point where they're even lower because the recovery is rough. I'm curious why it's so low for you. Like, I know why Jess's is, but I'm curious if that's like, has that been a problem for you for a long time or what? Last time I went to see my doctor, it was just like just checking up on how my meds were and everything. And and we were talking about all the things, and he was like, next time I see you, I'd like to like just run some blood tests, like nothing, like not a big deal or anything, just wait. I threaded my needle for a section. I'm not okay, whatever. We're doing it now. He was like, I just, would like to next time. It's been a while. And I was like, cool. I like seeing numbers. I'm geeky like that. So, like, at some point I'll go in and we'll do some blood tests just to see how things are. It's probably good because it's been a while. So I don't know if like my vitamin D has gotten up since then and all of that. I think the last time I got it done, they were like, you need to take like 500 milligrams of vitamin D. I'm like, that's a lot. You've been reading and writing Pride and Prejudice fan fiction. You know what? There's nothing to say that you have to stick with one hobby or craft. So you do what's good for your soul. You've only been stitching since March, and it's a struggle to figure out how I want to handle any long-time project floss. I don't want to. Yeah, I think. So here's what I decided to do, Kat. Because I've done both. When I first started this project, and there were 3 projects, my very first full coverage projects. I bought all the floss just for those projects, but I didn't have like a master set at that point. But then I ended up moving to the master set. Because I was realizing that on most of those projects, a dye lot problem wasn't going to be an issue. Because like in something like this, like there's not really any block stitching, like there might be a lot of black, but it's kind of spread all over the place. So if there's a dye lot change, it's going to be just fine. So my threads kind of gotten all put together into a master set, and then I have extras over there. And that's been really nice because I kind of stay stitching in this area mostly, and so I have my set with me. But when I went to kit up Queen of the Night, what I did was I looked up, there's calculators online where you can see how much floss you need if you know your stitch count and your fabric count, and then like are you doing 1 strand or 2 strands, that information, right? So I put that information in for Queen of the Night. I checked every single actually I believe the one I ended up with was like a chart, and so I just had to say my stitch count is between these 2 numbers and know how much of a skein I needed. So if it was like a 1/4 of a skein or less, I just pulled some from my master set. But if it was like above that, like half a skein or more, then I went ahead and bought another skein, or however many skeins it told me I needed. That way I still knew I had my master set, but I knew that I had the floss for Queen of the Night that it was going to call for all together. I hope that makes sense. So what else was I going to say about that? Yeah. And then when I finish with that, I'll just absorb the floss back in. But that way I still have that project plus all the other floss. I don't know. It works for me, but not every project is like an active project. So it doesn't all get that treatment yet. Your levels were normally really good. That would make sense. Like, and plus our bodies just change over time. anyway. And so, you know, your gut microbiome could be like wonky with all the like stress that you've been living with and all of that. So thank goodness for like medical professionals that we can trust. My puppy wants to come inside. One moment. Here's Queen of the Night while I'm at it. It's a big bag that it's in, which is nice. And then I have these like floss cards. They're not my favorite. I like floss drops, individual ones a lot better, but these were like super cheap and it works just fine. So I was able to just put all of them here. It's a mess, but whatever. And the bag is big enough that like it does fit just fine, and I don't feel like it takes up tons of space. And I don't feel like it's a waste of floss either. Because like I said, like I went and I looked up that stitch count. And so if it wasn't going to be that much floss, I just took it from my master set and didn't rebuy one of those skeins. You Started Bygone Summer by Josephine Wall. Super Size Max Color. 100 stitches is a start. It probably feels like hardly anything for a super size, but first stitches are memorable, for sure. I consider my full set of DMC the same thing as a master set. Like it is definitely a working set. Like I utilize it pretty much every day. I use Annie's Keepers on file hangers, and they're nice because they're just like, I like how these work a lot. You can get cheaper for ones from Amazon, but I liked these ones because they do hook into the, whatever this is called, I just said the name, file folder hangers. So I like these ones a lot. It was definitely worth the investment for me. Material packs are nice because like you don't have to do any prep work or anything. That's how I started with Treasure Hunt Bookshelf, is I got a material pack. I found it like really bulky because they use those rings, and for me personally, it ended up being very challenging with Max Color, and I needed more simplification. Like I needed it to feel streamlined and look streamlined in order for me to feel like there is order. It's nice to kind of have like a trial and error time period. And I don't know, honestly, I feel like I don't ever. There's always something to try out, right? I feel like I like how my floss is now, and so I've been working a lot about um, like my long-term goals and how I'm working through it. Just got a notification. Oh, nice! Yay for Woodland Enchantress! I'm always excited to hear, like, you know, when you stitch the same thing as somebody else is stitching on, you're like, yay! It's so exciting! Pip, please stop. Hi. She's like sitting here licking her leg over and over and over and over again. Which is fine, except the sound gets to me when it's constant like that. Okay, I'm not sitting here and petting you. Do you want to say hi? There you go. There's your little eyeballs. Hi, Celia. You're stitching today. Did you need a break from diamond painting, or did you? I'm not gonna say that you ran out of diamond painting. That would be crazy. Say, there you go. Say hi. Oh man. I have definitely been wanting to do much more diamond painting lately, but I haven't had tons of time for anything. So there's that. Zero Atrium. That's a huge thing to lose. What happened? You're on a deadline to finish. Deadlines, I understand this a lot. I think we all know that I love to work at it for a deadline. I decided I wanted to get my the puppy piece that I'm stitching for Steven for Christmas. I want to finish that for stitching in the springs. Or rather, I want to finish it as stitching in the springs. Like, I want to ring the bell. What am I finishing? Yeah, I will show it. This one. This one. The one for Steven. Because I wanted to have it finished by like the end of November anyway. So you know, why not move that deadline up by like 2.5 weeks? It's fine, whatever. There is definitely something with moving. That makes things so easy to get lost. Yeah. You were coughing and missed it. Ooh, that cough. Yep, I want fear to be finished. I was considering, I can't get it framed before I gift it because once it's framed, I can't easily, you know, take it on an airplane. But then I was like, well, I could like get it framed, but I would have to have Steven like drop me off at the craft store, but like, sorry, you can't come in. But without telling him. Anyway, so what I decided is that I will gift it to him, finished but not framed, and then he can help pick out the framing. What I really want is a square frame with a round mat that's going to give like an inch around the stained glass part so you still get to see that purple fabric. But in my head, that is like the loveliest combination. So, hi Anna. I don't know if you go by Anna Karen or just Anna. I forgot to ask you that yesterday, but hi. And then he can also choose like the style of framing he likes best. So that's what we're going to do. And really, like, I have a, go get some adulting while you're coughing. Yeah. See you, Alara. You listen to both. Okay. Adulting is dangerous to your health. I don't know though. Sometimes adulting is what gives us our health. Hi, Kate. You're all caught up now. Alright, you keep hearing YouTubers talk about over-dyed threads, but you have no clue what they are. Love you, Alara. To me, over-dyed and hand-dyed is the same thing. Is there a technical difference? I have absolutely no idea. But to me, those are the same thing. So when somebody says over-dyed, I'm not really sure what makes one over-dyed versus just regularly dyed. But to me, an over-dyed is the same thing as a hand-dyed. And they tend to be variegated threads. Maybe that's why it's over-dyed. It's like a color over another color to make an over-dye, maybe. They also tend not to be color fast, although some of them are. That is the best I can do at this moment. I can't adult today. First thing you read when you wake up is that sentence. You're welcome. I can't promise that it is completely accurate information, but that's what it is in my head. However, now that you've said that, I will probably do some research to find out for sure. Like, DMC is not considered over-dyed threads, but I believe like Weeks Dye Works would be. Though they have changed their formula to be color fast, which I think is really nice. Something about how they process allows them to be color fast now. I do love variegated floss. I would love to have like a full set of like petite Rainbow Gallery treasure braid, because then sometimes in projects where I want to have a like sub out a color for some sparkly, I already have them and I can just like easily match. I would really like that. But that's like a $300 or $400 investment. So, you know, little by little. And, you know, not until I move, probably, because I need to. You're more intimidated by her than you are. Well, I'm glad that I'm not intimidating, or at least that I'm less intimidating than others. I like to think I'm highly approachable. Hi, Brandy. Okay, yes. See, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was getting to, is that it's like they're dyeing over another color. So there you go. Over dyed threads are when a company takes a thread like DMC and dyes it a second time. So it's not necessarily a variegated thread. But its original color was a different color. I also definitely don't feel like a guru, Kate, so I'm extremely approachable. That's good. I would definitely prefer to be approachable than, like, fangirly. Where? Oh, over here. I might not know the answer to questions, but I'm willing to try to answer them. Oh, I like your definition of a guru. I'm definitely not afraid to say that I don't know the answer. I don't need to know all the answers, but when I do figure out the answers, I don't mind sharing them. And I like asking questions. I'm like, I don't know how this works. Who knows? Who can tell me how this works? It may feel ridiculous at times. Like, this may be a super obvious question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Sometimes when I'm doing musician-y things, that's funny. Kristen's done adulting now. Alara just left to do some adulting. um, Sometimes when I'm doing musician-y things, I, I don't know. I like to preface it always by saying, like, I'm not professionally trained. I'm like, I never studied in college music or anything like that. There's, yeah, that's not me. But I do like to consider myself a relatable musician. I might not know the technical terms, but I can tell you how it is that I want you to sound, or I may not even be able to tell you always how to make the sound, but I can tell you if you're not making it and I need you to make it. I sometimes paint scenes. I'm like, I need you to sound like, like imagine it's the beginning of a music video and it's this meadow with a forest in the back and it's all foggy, and then you're like coming out of the forest into this foggy meadow, and it's kind of like this stillness and ethereal feel, and they're like, oh, okay, and then they sang it how I needed them to sound. But I know other people, um, like one time I was working with a new conductor, and she thinks of music in terms of colors. And so she says, she's like, oh, I can do that, because then she could go and tell people, like, I need you to sound like bright yellow. And then people figure out how to do it. So I like to feel like that is a strength of mine, is that I can relate to people, or people can relate to me. I don't know which one it is. Hello, other Suki. Look, this is going to be really weird in Stitching in the Springs. Like, I'm just going to keep calling you other Suki until I can get over it and just say Suki. And then people are actually going to say Suki, and then we're both going to answer. And like, how many times in our lifetimes does that happen with the name Suki? Okay. What do you need, Pip? She's kind of whiny. Yeah, you write, and I don't write very naturally anyway. I figure that other people will figure out how to refer to Suki and Suki. You may ask all the questions, Kate. Whatever. What we'll use your first legal name. We can't do that for me because I don't go by it ever. I will not know that it's me. If somebody says Susanna, I'll be like, that's not me. um, I'm about to need to figure out what Pip needs real quick. She keeps settling down, but then she gets up and is like needing me to do something, so. Like, my brother is here. Go bother my brother. But I am her human, so she doesn't do that. I played the organ and the piano this morning, and I will need to do piano again tonight. So I play organ for like church Sunday service, and I play piano for the choir at that church as well. And they sang today, so I was doing that. Oh, wait, where's my needle here? Okay, hold on a second. I will come back and answer questions and look at them. Ooh, I have an answer for that, Kate. Hold on. Come on. Okay. Shauna, I can meander about that question, but I start making plans for next year whenever they start occurring to me. And I don't, so that's like not, I don't ever have like I definitely start by this time or whatever. I just let ideas like come to me. Now, about dyeing fabric. If you rinse it until the water is clear, it just means all that excess dye is out. However, if you were to change that kind of water, like say you rinsed it before when it was clear, but then it came to my house and I tried rinsing it, my water might be a little different or my heat a little different. And so it could still wash out more dye because my water is different than yours. So whatever you rinse it out as, it's the same kind of water you would want to use when you finish your stitching. Another thing you can use, and I went and I grabbed this, okay? It's a RIT Color Stay Dye Fixative, okay? And this helps your water or your color retention when you're dyeing. So you use it after you finish dyeing and after you have rinsed it, you like saturate your piece with this and let it sit. The instructions are all in here. And you can do that. There might be other ways to set the color, but I do not know that. But I have used this product and it works for me, so I just keep using that one. Hi, Nicole. So a lot of places, of hand-dyed fabrics, a lot of dyers, there we go, when they say that their fabrics are like you can wash them, they're color fast, they're mostly saying that they've washed their fabrics in very hot water multiple times, usually 2 times. So they've rinsed it and washed it in really hot water, and they probably use some kind of fixative like this. And that way they've covered basically all kinds of water heat. The places that don't want to say that they're color fast, they might have gone through that same process, but you just never know. Or maybe they don't go through that process, you know? I don't know where I'm stitching right now. I think here. You're welcome, Kate. I really do love learning about things, and I find it fascinating to hear about people's process and things like that. So I kind of soak it. I soak it in. Hi, Sandra. Yeah, and I've used this twice. I don't use it as like I've never put it in a bucket, for example. But there's still plenty in this bottle, and I've used this one I think on 2 different fabrics. So I don't like utterly soak it, but I do definitely spray it all over the place and let it sit on it. I can also say, if you are wanting to dye a dark color fabric, there are things, I think salt is one of the things to use to do it dark, but also warmer water is really good to dye dark. Also doubling the amount of dye you use and letting it soak for a long time. So dyeing it dark is definitely, I'll show you the difference. Where is it? Ugh, I'm gonna fall over. Come on, come on, there we go. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, so this fabric, this purple right here, and this purple right here, it's the same ratio of colors that I used, but this one's a lot lighter and this one's a lot darker, because this one I doubled the amount. So like if I used 2 drops of one color and 1 drop of another, that's not what I did, but I don't remember. I did like 4 drops and 2 drops. And then I did all the things I just said. I made the water hot. I kept it warm the whole time that I was dyeing it, and I added, I'm pretty certain it's salt, and I let it soak for probably twice as long as this one. And so you can see like the difference in how dark one is versus the other, but it's the same, like it's the same color. It's the same formula. hope that makes sense. Because sometimes people want to go dark, but then they don't know how to make it stay dark. The plastic round, are you talking about these? Where it like opens up like this and is like that? If this is what you're talking about, they're called plastic bobbins. They are actually called bobbins. So if you were to search for them, the regular bobbins will come up, but so will these. And it's real nice. You've got the one side opens up like this, and then you wrap it around, and then you close it, and they just hang there. They are very, very nice, especially if you're going to park and stuff. A lot of threads anyway. Yeah, isn't that cool, Kate? Like, make a few minor changes and you can get a much darker color or a much lighter color. If you're dyeing with RIT dye, on their website, there's a page that shows like all of these different colors, and if you click into it, it'll tell you like the combination of RIT dye that you would want to get that color. I don't know if that made sense, but sometimes you're like, well, those are nice blues, but I want this kind of a blue. You know, like I kind of want like a red blue. And so they'll tell you if you use these 2 or 3 colors in this ratio, then that you'll get it. I like it. I use that to find it out. How do they know where the stitches go? By marking your chart, honestly, and by adhering to a few simple guidelines. I do think that parking doesn't work for everyone's brain. I find that I do fine with parking. I know how to park and it's fine. But sometimes my brain looks at that and says, this is utter chaos, and other times my brain goes, this is organized. But it's important when you're parking to park in the same place in relation to that stitch. So if you start in the lower left-hand corner for a stitch, then when you park for that stitch, always park in the lower left-hand corner. That way, when you come to that place, you know that which hole that's supposed to go to. You know, oh, it's the lower left, so now I'm going to the upper right. That clears up a lot of the confusion that can happen with parking. And then if you use something like Pattern Keeper, I assume Markup RXP does the same thing. But in Pattern Keeper, you can say which corner you're parking in. So you can say, you can mark it, and it marks it with like a corner so that it's highlighted differently than I've stitched that. stitch. You can be really methodical about parking, um, but you can also be really relaxed about parking. But it's not for everybody, so. I've not done a parking tutorial yet. I have so many videos I need to make, it's ridiculous. You know, Silver, some people will go stitch by stitch just because, for whatever reason, that works best with their brain. Like, all of our brains are wired just a little bit differently. We see patterns differently. We see things as organized or chaotic differently. The way that it thinks and works through something, it's all going to be different. And so I do know that there's people who will go stitch by stitch because that is the only way that they don't get stitches wrong. Even doing like a square, even though that might seem like, well, there's only 100 stitches in a square. Sometimes even that is too big of a space. And so looking at just this row of 10 stitches is enough. And there's no shame in that. It's just how our brains work, which is a very individual thing. So there's nothing wrong with it at all. I have done it, I have stitched that way. There's one pattern that I stitched that way on, and it is my Father Christmas Max Color piece. It's a regular size max color, so the confetti is crazy, but there's also a lot of light colors in there, which is challenging to stitch. And so I will do a row by row and sometimes even a stitch by stitch because it just works out the best to do it that way. you guys. And then you. Okay. All right, Silver. Say hi to the pups for me. I just realized something. I need to check in on Kaylin with something. Anyway. Hey, Sierra. Julia. Hello. I got to meet Julia at Stitch West. That was fun. We had lunch together at Brio. Was that when we were at Brio's? Julia had, she had a full set of DMC, but only in one bobbin box because she took bobbins and then like a strand or whatever of each color and put them on so that it was easy to travel, but she still had her whole set. I was like, that's such a tiny little full set of DMC. It's fun. You got your seat cushion for stitching in the springs? Yes, Michelle. You are prepared. My timing plans for today. So I will stay live until I finish stitching on the bookshelf, and then I'm actually not going to film the rest of the day. My body has definitely been demanding a break from lots of things, and I need downtime before corral tonight. So that's my timing. I'm at 250 stitches, and I will go to roughly 600 stitches. I might still stitch, but yeah, I need to store up for whatever. Oh, it was in 2 boxes. They were just so little. I was just like, they're so little for it being a full set. But you were able to like take them on the plane and have them. Yeah, Kate. I figure that if my alarm's gonna go off and I was immediately back asleep, like my sleep tracker did not even register that I moved to turn off that alarm. I was out again so fast, and I slept for another hour and 45 minutes after that point. before I woke up and was like, I don't think I was supposed to be asleep right then. Um, it's just, sometimes you don't have the choice in when things are scheduled, and so I just, deal with it. Hi, Jess. How are you doing? Aw, having to wait a whole week without the tracker, that's. Cinder ran off with your glasses case. How did she manage to do that? Ugh. Kittens. Ooh, is she like ran off and hid them? You can't even find. Oh man. It's like, can you. You looked everywhere, but you looked without your glasses because you don't have them, so. Is it that she hid them well or that you can't see them? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding you. Hardcover hinges lid kind. She won't tell me where she put it. Perhaps she's very pleased and amused at watching you try to find it. That sounds like a cat thing. You need glasses to find your glasses. Yeah. Luckily, my glasses are for long distance. I don't need them for close up. Over one skin. You need them as magnifiers. It was funny at Stitch West because I wore my glasses a lot of the time, and when I met Brenda, Brenda was like, it took me a while to realize where like I knew you from, because I was like, she looks familiar, but like have I met her at a retreat? I'm not sure that I have. And then she's like, and then you smiled, and I was like, oh, it's Suki. And I was like, oh, I thought maybe it was my glasses, like my Superman disguise. Like, I'm Clark Kent right now because I'm wearing my glasses. So one of the silliest things about Superman is that, like, literally he takes his glasses off and everyone's like, oh, it's Superman. Your far away starts at the end of your nose. I'm not there yet. I prefer playing the piano and stitching without my glasses. but it doesn't bother me. Like, it doesn't mess with my vision to have them on. Yeah. Yeah, because we don't, neither of us film with glasses either. Um, I don't film with glasses because I just don't need them for that. I know other people don't like filming with glasses because of the glare. I never consider the glare, but it is funny. You get used to seeing people like however they are on videos, and so something can trip them up, anybody up. But I've seen your hair curly in your videos. One person mistook me for Leslie, Under the Sea Fabrics Leslie, because her hair at that time was like, it was a much lighter purple, but it was still purple and blue. And um, I happened to be looking at Under the Sea Fabrics right then, and somebody asked me a question about the fabrics, and I'm like, you'll want to talk to Leslie because I don't actually have any idea. And she's like, oh, it didn't even register. I just like, you're purple, she's purple. The 2 times you record a year. I would say right now it's okay that you don't film because health and all that, but like for real, I like I like when you film. I like it when my people make videos and I get to see them. Well, if I had to choose, I'd rather you healthy than film. So, you know, for whatever my opinion is worth there. You have all your stuff in Queen City ready to record. I've got Stitch West footage that I need to put together, but I want to put it together into like a different kind of a video format that I've done, and so I'm still working on it. Also, I haven't had time to put it together, but I'm working on it. Welcome back, Silver. We don't have healthy or videos, so there's that. But we have kittens. Always look on the bright side of life. That's all the song of that I know. Bad kid. But adorable all the same. Steven has a cat. His name's Mr. Gray. Mr. Gray likes to cuddle with me, and not Steven. And Steven's like, stop stealing my girlfriend. and Mr. Gray will get under the blankets with me and stay there, but he won't do that with Steven. Like, I can't help it that your cat finds me calmer than you, or something like that. I was listening to the musical Rent on the drive home from New Jersey. Well, and by listening, I mean I was singing along the entire time. But anyway, and as I was listening, I was realizing how many how much that musical as a teenager helped shape some of my views. Because like they all have like all of these different problems and whatever, and they're just trying to make it through. And then you've got some characters who they're like, I'm living every day to the fullest because life's too short, and I don't know, like, I have this disease I'm gonna die from, and I don't know when that's gonna be. Or and then you have other people who are still wrestling with that, and they're not ready to admit that that's their life too. And it's like, yeah, you want to live life to the fullest as much as you can, because you don't know. And you also don't know what other people are going through. But you can relate in some way to the fact that life is full of struggle. I'm all for not being like toxically positive, where it's very dismissive of people's challenges. I do not ever want to do that. I mean, there are times when you're not going to see that silver lining. You're like, right now, I can't see that, and that's okay. I've been there many times, where it's like, yeah, I know that's going to pass. This hard time is going to pass, but right now, it's hard. It's not going to pass right now. The curtains, the sunshine right here is like blinding. Ugh. There we go. That's better. I'm looking for baggage that goes with mine. I should tell you. Yep. It's gonna be getting dark for you. It's only 1 p.m. for me. It is beautiful blue skies right now, though, which is nice. Hey, Coralie. Is it Coralie? You got a stitch in time. You're saving by the thread. Yay. Okay, so this is super size, max color version. I don't know if your stitch in time is the super size version or not. Just keep that in mind. I started this in 2019, so that's 4 years ago, but there was about a year in which I didn't stitch. So I like to say it was 3 years on this. It's been about 1 year a shelf. And just keep in mind that is tent stitch, not full cross. It is the super size, and I am highly dedicated to it. Oh, Silver, you're not crazy. You just have a preference. Um, some people just really prefer full cross. I have some in full cross, just not a super size. I think it's just important to remember that mine's not full cross because, um, yes, this has been doable in the time span, but it's because I'm working with half the amount of stitches as a full cross. If I was working with full crosses, then it would be much harder to do a full shelf in a year. Perhaps not impossible, but much harder, and I wouldn't be able to work on other projects so much either. Pulled my thread out. I have found that my happy place is to have a few projects that have dedication to it and then allow the rest of my projects to have less dedication and be fine with it. Yes, I'm the end of the third shelf. And I have like about 8,000 left in here. I love Aimee Stewart's colors, like how she um just like it's a very saturated feeling with all of Aimee's shirts. Just a second when a broken just bent. We can learn to love again. It's been written in the scars on our hearts. We're not broken, just bent. We can learn to love again. We can learn to love again. Oh, we can learn to love again. What length of floss? Well, whatever length it happens to be. When I initially cut my floss, like when I first made my set, they were quite long. Um, like, uh, like this long, like a lot of the, yeah, there we go. This long, however long. And I would just take them off and use it like this because I did a loop start. And so that was manageable. But then because sometimes I use one strand and sometimes I use two strands and I don't know. So I started cutting them down to this length instead. So that doesn't tell you anything whatsoever except I've been moving towards shorter instead of longer, and I do like that. What I've been doing actually is I'll wrap it around my tablet this way and then just like cut it here. And so that's just been the length that I've been doing it at lately. there's also a lot of shells, Shauna, so I definitely understand that there's going to be some like decision paralysis. Um, but they are commitments. I mean, like any full coverages, right? Um, they can be very lengthy commitments. And sometimes you just have to live vicariously through other people. Especially if finishes are important to you rather than just the process of it. I I like the shorter length. Um, it doesn't bother me when there is block stitching and I just have to change the thread more often. I prefer that the shorter length allows for both one strand and two strands just fine. The way that I have started using my strands for two strands allows me to easily go back and forth between one strand and two strands on different projects. Which was another thing that was kind of starting to get annoying, was I'd come to a used thread and I'd be like, well, I obviously used this for a one strand or back stitching, so I can't use it for two strands now, or vice versa. Anyway, that's more complicated than it needs to be. Also, the shorter length, even in block stitching, it means that at the end of every strand, I have the option to keep going with that color or switch to another color if I feel like it. And I like having that choice. So there is that too. Whereas if I had a longer length of thread, I feel very locked into that color. Another reason that I made this change was this is just a file folder thing, right? So the longer lengths pool at the bottom of the bin and then they can get tangled up together, but the shorter lengths don't do that. So that's another reason why I liked the shorter length, was it's less problematic with the bin. If I can streamline things, I will. That's what I'm trying to do, is streamline. And figure out the length that is nice and uniform. I feel like this tablet is, I don't know how tall it is. Maybe 9 inches, so I'm working with 18-inch lengths. Except I want to say that it's 7 inches, so that's 14 inch. Where's my ruler? I don't know where it is. I don't keep numbers like that in my head very easily. That's true, Silver. When I have to use 3 strands though, I actually end up using one length, and then there's a way that I can start it that allows me to just use one strand but end up with 3. And so that shortens it a lot. So I'm not dealing with such long lengths even then. When I see a different technique, I like to try them out at least a little bit. And sometimes I find that they really don't work for me for whatever reason, but they still work really well for other people. So I always encourage, like, try all the different things out. And you'll learn if it works for you or it doesn't. There are some types of thread that definitely do better with shorter lengths because of fraying. Um, like my Riolis kit is a wool acrylic blend thread, and shorter lengths are better for that. I prefer shorter lengths with silks as well. But DMC doesn't have that same problem. I guess it's not really a problem, it's just like the nature of those kinds of threads. I want to take retreat gifts to stitching in the springs, but I couldn't decide on something. Like, I wanted it to be something that wasn't like overly me. Like, I don't want to do a business card or anything like that, but like I wanted it to have my touch, you know? And I very recently just figured out like what that thing was. And so Kaylin is doing research for me on where I can source this from. So hopefully I can find something in time for stitching in the springs. Hi, Hannah. Why have I stopped parking? I park in situations I need parking. Um, and I don't park the rest of the time. The way that I stitch, like cross country and parking, I don't often need it. I can just stitch it out, and so I do. Father Christmas Max Color tends to be the only one that I consistently remain parking on. Because it's a lot of color, but it's also a lot of light colors. And so parking and working row by row just fits better for that project. The rest of the time, I will park if my brain is like, that is orderly to me, but then I stop parking because my brain switches over into, this is chaotic right now. So you'll definitely see me go back and forth. I do believe the only projects right now with parking is Father Christmas. That might be the only place. I know Sabrina has a few parked threads, but they're backstitching threads and I didn't want to stop it. So I just moved them off to the side. It's fake parking. Sierra, like, some people like parking and some people don't. I like trying the different techniques to see in what situation something might work for me. I like having a big toolbox that I can pull from no matter what situation or what shape my brain is in at the time. And if I don't try things out, then how do I know how I might use that? There's very few things that I stick with all the time, I think. Because there might be some situations that I just use something else. Sometimes, in a piece like this, when I'm working in my by section but by column like this, I might end up like I'll cross country out, but then the last stitch is in a place that I can't end my thread, and so I'll just park it there until I stitch more and then I can end that thread. So that's another way that's very useful to use parking, is doing that. The amount of parked threads for the next row down is a little daunting. Yeah, just try to narrow your world down to just that next stitch. And then you're just taking it one stitch at a time. And it'll be fine. You got it. Yes, Julia. See, that's just how I see all these different techniques. Like how to start a thread, how to finish a thread, different ways to use parking, different ways to stitch. Like I just like knowing those things so that I have options and can be adaptable depending on the situation. I can stitch in hand, and sometimes I do. I can't do it all the time because I will hold my wrists at awkward angles if I'm not careful. And then it puts a lot of strain on my wrists because I'll hold it like this so that my fabric is straight, but I need to I need to hold it like this so that my wrist is neutral. So my big fabric projects, I don't like stitching in hand. It's a lot of weight and I hold them awkwardly. But on my smaller projects like Fira, I stitch Fira in hand. It makes it really easy for me to go places and take something that size. I like the idea of stitching in hand for everything, um, and the ease of doing that, but I just can't with my wrists like to complain sometimes. Again, I suppose I like being able to stitch in hand for that flexibility dependent on the situation. There was one time, I think it was last year, I I tried stitching everything in hand. I was like, it would be great if I could just get rid of any accessories. Um, like I don't need stands, I don't need Q snaps, those kind of a thing. Like, can I just get rid of any of all of those? But when I tested out stitching everything in hand, that's when I learned uh, how I hold my wrist depending on the size of the project and things. And I was like, okay, so I can't get rid of all accessories. I stitch my phoenix, my stamped phoenix, in hand too. I Within the last couple weeks, I have fallen in love with the Nerge square. uh, Are they even called? I guess they're called hoops, but they're square hoops. Um, I like their slimmer profile than the Q snaps, so I can see me phasing out Q snaps in favor of the Nerge hoops. I am in awe of the people who stitch on huge projects in hand. So, like Jemima the Rocking Stitcher does, and so does Sarah Stitchin' Mommy. They both stitch in hand. Um, James the PH Stitcher, he also stitches in hand. And he rolls it up from the top, and so the way that he is holding it is up here, whereas I'm pretty certain both Jemima and Sarah hold them from the bottom. Hello, Verna. How are you today? Oh, so you go in from the sides. Yeah. When I'm working on Fira, I don't even roll it because it's such a small pattern. Like I'm just scrunching it like this to get to where I need to be. Um like yeah. So this is where I was working on this morning. I just like scrunch it. And the other thing I like to do is because I can do the sewing method on this one, I I don't even have to go underneath. I just work on it like this, and it works beautifully for this one. Um, yeah, it works beautifully. But I don't have to roll this one, which is nice. I can just scrunch it and then I can place my hand and my wrist in whatever orientation I need it to be in. I'm glad you're doing well, Verna. I feel like we should do a round of like, what are some wins in people's lives lately? It doesn't have to be stitching related, but like, what is something that you did or happened to you that just felt really good to you? You have the techniques that work for you, and I think that's most important. Celia, nice, 100%. Man, burnout is no joke. Like, that takes forever, and you don't have any kind of time frame on it, ever. Good for you. Being over that, like, rough spot of burnout's gotta feel good. Going to Stitch West was a huge win for you. That's good. You got to meet a lot of people there, Julia. Nice little vacation. Ooh, I know NaNoWriMo. My sister used to do that. You even have a writing plan. Good job. Is your novel, because you said you were writing Pride and Prejudice fan fiction lately, so is your novel a fan fiction based, or is it a completely, like, I guess, original idea? Hello, Joyce. You've returned and still can't find your glasses case. You even moved the couch. Jess. Cinder was sneaky. Ooh, like a spin-off going on here. Nice. Don't, I guess she's teaching you not to underestimate her. Don't underestimate Cinder. My cats are too old to do shenanigans like that, so I don't have suggestions. Hold my beer. You probably don't want to see what Cinder's like with beer. Oh, under the fridge is a good thing. Like any like under place, because that's easily battable. No lifting required. Do I have a tour of it? Not really. I mean, I've shown it in some different videos, but not very much. Um, this is in front of my windows. I have a chair on right here that sometimes I'm in, and I have a desk over here with this chair. And I do that too. Any other guesses? Couch cushions, open bags and boxes. I wonder if this is going to be one of those places where when you finally find it, it's going to be like a facepalm moment. I do use I think it was called a meditation cushion. that I sit on when I'm sitting here because I'm on the floor. But sitting on the cushion, like it raises me up and puts my like legs uh I don't know. The way it lets me sit is much more comfortable than if I were sitting directly on the floor. Ooh, airflow, especially when it's like natural airflow. That's nice, Kate. I don't know, sometimes accomplishments really are like simple things that is happy life. So, the thingy. I like that technical term, Jess, the thingy. It is in my world, Silver. You know, the thingy. So is all the things. Because I say that a lot too. You know, all the things. You soon have to figure out how to get the window back in when the snow starts. That is a future Kate problem solving need. All right, Silver. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll talk again. <gasps> 79.2% done on Maryland. You totally got this, Michelle. No challenge needed. There we go. I just filled in all of these stitches. I love when all the stitches go in and you just see it. Only cheerleading, Michelle. That's what I've got for you. I will do all the celebratory things. Ooh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader. She is always right there when I need her. See you, Michelle. It was not under the thingy. Is Nacho asleep on them? How's when you're like, I need one of those tracker things for your glasses, you know? Make it beep. Follow it. Follow the beeping sound. Kate and Celia had the same suggestion. That's funny. If she did that. Careful, Cinder, your life might be in danger. This is like, was it Friday with Alara making us guess? Like, I need a conclusion here. I have not stitched any of the Hawk Run Hollows, and I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's that the one I've seen most, which is the Halloween one, that one never called to me. And I haven't seen any of the other hawk-grown hollows often enough. Like I haven't really gone and in search of them to see if any of the other ones are a stitch me situation. What's a dark purple blue besides 550 and 333? There's really not many. Purples are like DMC's weakest colors. I would say 154 is like a dark, I wouldn't call it a dark purple blue though. What was the other one? 333. Yeah, 154 I know is like a darker one. That one's much more blue than purple. $38.37's not like a deep purple, but there is that. 29 I think is also one of those. Yeah, 31, 32. $35 has like a red tonish in it, so it just kind of depends on which way you're aiming with the dark purple. Hi Rachel, by the way. 158, 791. So there's some other suggestions for you. You're welcome, Julia. You're stitching, ooh, HAED mandalas. Nice. Wow, that's a long wait to find out. Goodness. Congratulations, though. That is nice. Almost makes it like extra bonusy for waiting so long. Well, that's because I don't work for a living. I yeah, I was married. I'm now divorced. And the alimony from that is fine to where I have time before I need to work again. So that I can really do what I want to do. whatever that is. Like, I don't have to just have a job. I haven't had a job for a long time, ever since my daughter was born, really. And I am hesitant to just have a job. I would work if I had to work, right? But I'm grateful that I don't have to even now. So I have time to choose how to go about having a job. And I've been tossing around a lot of ideas with how I can, like, what's going to be really soul filling to me so I can approach that. I do consider stitching to be like a vocation, not necessarily money making, though I do earn something from that. But yesterday's live, we totally fleshed out like a dream business for me, which is basically like a bed and breakfast, but for stitching. So that is something that I'm going to be working towards for sure. And it was interesting. I'm real good at coming up with ideas, and I can be good about following through on those ideas. I was talking with Steven about this particular idea and how I really wanted to do it, but that I know one of the dangers for me, one of those obstacles is self-doubt. Like, it's not that I don't think it's a great idea or that I'm not capable. It's kind of that, like, who am I to do this thing? It's like, who am I to put this value out in the world? And he was like, "You're Suki, the brown-eyed stitcher." Like, that's all the reason, right? I don't that's all the value, right? I do count myself very fortunate, Rachel. I worked really hard being financially in a good place. Like, I wasn't the one with the job. I wasn't bringing in the money, but I worked really hard to have us in a really good financial position, and so now I'm able to continue that while still being able to take time to decide on things, decide how I want to do it. When I set up for a retreat, okay, so having a battery pack is really helpful if you're if you're using a lot of things that take juice, right? My lamp is a plug-in lamp, so I definitely I like having a battery pack, a lamp. I don't always use it though, so there is that. Stitching in the springs doesn't have fantastic lighting, so having a lamp is good for that one. I don't have a stitching mat, but I would like one for when I'm at Barnes & Noble because those tables there are not clean. but I don't use one for a retreat. What else do I use? I take my Lowry stand for stitching in the springs, but I did not take any stand for Stitch West, and that was fine. Because I was by airplane, so. Oops, I did not do this one right. If all the creative and inventive people like you just didn't move ahead on wonderful ideas, there would be so much less to enjoy in the world. Stephen essentially said the same thing, Kate. He was like, you know, somebody else might have that idea, but they're not doing it. Or maybe they are doing it, and you just need more of them. And he's like, you know what? If this fails, like, let's say that we build this and nobody comes, like absolutely nobody comes, like, what's the worst case scenario? And I'm like, I guess we're just out some time and money. He was like, yeah, but we also have like these two, like, we have this giant building and that can be adapted to some other way. And he was like, I like giant buildings, and so we'll just find a new use for it if that's the case. I definitely don't plan on waiting until I have to, but I do have several years. So if you build it, they will come. That came to mind, absolutely. I was like, I definitely don't feel like nobody will come. So that's not a fear. It's just definitely like a self-doubt, like it's definitely like a who am I to do this? And I don't need to be somebody to do it. So, yeah. I am in Virginia currently, but next year my plan is to be moving to New Hampshire. North Carolina's not far now. Who were the Wright brothers to try to create an airplane? And who was Sam Walton to create Superstore where you can get everything? You are enough, you are worthy, you have a great idea whose time has come. Thank you, Kate. Thank you so much for that. And by they, I mean me. I will come. Yay. And I will stitch with you if you want. Like, that is literally like a bed and breakfast built for stitchers. Sounds like a dream to me. And so at the very least, I will have a beautiful space in which to stitch, and I'll go live and, you know, demand people join me one way or the other. Ooh, see, Julia, I had like an envelope for orts, but one of my table mates had orts for everybody, like an ort container, which was perfect. Where is it? And I've been really wanting one of these things, and so I'm super happy. This was perfect, having this little ort container. I love it. I love it. And my little scissors now. Dude, no competition. No competition. I will just make people visit me. That's all I mean. That's all. The battery pack is definitely helpful for retreats. I'm moving partially because I'm ready to move. Partially because my boyfriend lives in New Hampshire and I want to be closer to him. We're not moving in together, but we're basically moving towards that being a thing. And so I want to move. I wanted to move with some land to where I could build a house on. Um, my plan was to move, have a bit of land, like 3 to 4 acres, have a little house, live in a tiny house, and then build a bigger house. Um, but now the idea is more land than that, to where I can still live in a tiny house, build a bigger house, but also build my, like, bed and breakfast stitchy place. That is what I want. Your best retreat takes are your battery pack, your glasses, your stitchy spot mat, and your iPad. Yeah. Yep, that sounds about right. Like, as long as you have a project to work on, there's, there's always going to be somebody who has, like, something extra if you need it. Yeah, Julia, that's a good point. The bigger retreats can be fairly loud. I I never ended up pulling out my earplugs, though I did at the concert the other night, and it was crazy how much clearer I could hear when they were speaking at the concert when I had the earbuds in. Um, but my this retreat, Stitching in the Springs, is small enough that it's not as loud and overwhelming as Stitch West. That's for certain. Jess, I want a review on the Lowry table clamp because I've definitely considered it, but I want your review on it. Oh, did you just name it, Kate? Suki Stitchery? Hmm. Steven is collecting little phrases that I keep saying um, for like merch ideas. Last night, I used the phrase like, I'm a recovering perfectionist, and he's never heard that before. And he was like, that's perfect, and I love it. And you need that on the back of a hoodie, and then you need to sell it. I'm like, okay, you collect all the ideas, and we'll put it together, okay? I also want to try the Lowry. What is the one called that allows you to use your big projects on them? Because my Nerge scroll rods are too they're hefty boys, um, and I can't use them with my Lowry. But I think that if I had the big project clampy thing, that I would be able to use those um, in it. Because yeah, those scroll rods they're hefty boys. Where's my pad? I need to write down Suki's Stitchery because you know what? I like ideas. Also, guys, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The scroll frame adapter. It's that wooden thing that like puts allows you to put it in the middle instead of on the side, and so the weight is what word did you just use? Just disperses the west. The corner clamp I'm not as interested in because I don't need it. I use I don't know where it is right now, but it's not sitting in my Lowry. shelf liner. I use a shelf liner. Yeah, I don't know where it is, but I use a shelf liner in my Lowry, and so I'm not pulled so much to the corner clamp. Moleskin's another good idea. I just happen to use shelf liner. And I have a big roll of it too, because I bought a roll just to use a small portion for the Lowry stand. 2 Lowry stands, that would be lovely. A normal clamp and one with a corner clamp. 2 Lowry stands would also allow me to like put one on either side of the big projects, but again, I'm trying to stay more minimal than big. Yeah, the shelf liner is cheaper than the corner clamp, and it works for my Q-snap, so I went with that one. I went with the cheap option, guys. Okay. The naming thing brings up something that Steven asked last night. He asked, what is your fan club name? That's weird. But like, he's like, what do you call your subscribers? And I'm like, I call them friends. He's like, that's not good enough. You need a name. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to name them. So it's the weirdest thing to say what's the fan club name, but what's the fan club name, guys? Kaylin also thinks that I need a fan club name, so, but I don't think that's a thing that I'm gonna name. Yeah, I want the scroll frame adapter though. Mostly because of the Nerge things. Right now I just like lean it against like my desk chair arms and my desk, the edge of the desk, and it works out fine, but it would be easier on the frame. A multi-angled vise? Yes, I can see that working also. I don't own one of those, but, you know, I could. No, we're not going with Suki's fan club, Kate. We need like... Kaylin explained it like this. In the K-pop world, they have what they call biases and alts. Biases are like the individual K-pop idols that they love the most. And alts are like their ultimate fan group, or the ultimate K-pop group that they love the most. So we went to see ENHYPEN, and this is like one of Kaylin's alts. Alt as in ultimate rather than alternative. But when you are a fan, when you're a fan of a K-pop group, you get, like, they have names. Like, I don't remember what ENHYPEN says. Engines. They call them engines. And so you're like, I'm an engine, you know that you're a N-hyphen fan. And each group has like their own, like BTS is armies. And so it's a way that they like identify their alts by that. And Kaylin's like, you need that. I'm like, I don't know that it's a need, but apparently it's a need. I don't know that we could do Suketeers because, first of all, oh, using my name, oh my gosh. Um, but I don't want to steal from like the Stitchketeers. That's too similar. I was like, I feel like American pop doesn't have the same like namings that K-pop has. Um, like yeah, Juggalos is funny though. I don't think I've heard that. Let's not pick something awkward, okay? I am a plebe and Suki stitched him. Oh. I'm not a ruler. I'm like just I prefer to be like behind the scenes, which is funny because I'm like face to face with you guys here. Somebody needs to be a face, I guess. Once you're here, you're a regular. Hi, Sabrina. Like, cheers. I don't know. I consider my space just like it's it's just a little corner of the Stitchy world as a whole, and like I'm just thrilled that I've managed to have that environment that I want. You know, the one that we are just so comfortable in and everything. Um, we all count. It's true. Ideally, we count in cross stitch anyway. Hi, Carol. You physically give up on finding your classes, but you're mentally still engrossed. Just like delegate it to your husband, okay? Also, I totally need something to eat immediately. So let me go down and grab a snack real quick, and I will be right back. Like, this was one of those super immediate, like, my hands are gonna start shaking. Is there a term similar to Suki in Japanese? I don't I don't know. Besides Suki being a Japanese word. I do consider you guys a village. Like, my Discord is the Suki village because that's what we are. Like, we're a community, but it's like it takes a village, you know? And village is like a cuter word than community. Anyway, let me get my snack. Okay, I'm back. The village people. We're the villagers. That sounds like a... Yeah. Townsfolk. We went from the village people to comrades, eh? That might be where I'm getting some of my, like, pushback when Kaylin has brought it up in the past. As I'm like, it feels weird. And I'm definitely not about exclusivity, right? Nice, Anna. You got your 24 hours in. But the other thing is that like we name retreats, right? And I think that might also be where Steven was heading, was that kind of a thing. Like, I don't know. I don't like feeling like I'm forefront, you know? Welcomers. I think we do already define smaller groups though, because we have like we have floss tubers. It's a smaller community. We've got Instagrammers. We have people who feel like they are just what do they call them? Like fancy lady stitchers and stuff like that. Ooh, Stitcher Society. I like that. And here's another thing that came to mind, is that at Stitch West, there was a table that made like, they made shirts specific for like their friends at that table, but there were some people at their table who didn't have that shirt. And somebody had made a comment like, oh, we really like your shirts. Like, you should, like, do you sell them or anything like that? And they're like, no. And the way that they were saying, like, no, it's just for us, was definitely very much like that. This is exclusive. And I don't like that. It's true. It's very true, Jess. I should have grabbed 2 slices of pizza. It's okay. I just apparently needed something in my stomach immediately. This allows me to go back to Kaylin and Steven with something. Because I'm still struggling a little bit to put into words like my hesitation in doing something specific, you know? That's perfect, Jess. We do already have a name. We're just Stitchers, that's fine. I think it's that I don't like labeling people. I don't at all, right? And so I have a way that I like to like very subtly put my touch on something. Things that mean something to me, and well, Celia, you get the benefit of being able to eat not on screen, at least. That's the thing. If you choose to label yourself, that's one thing. But I don't like labeling people. But I do have little things that I use that I associate with me. And if other people associate those things with me, you might. See ya, Celia. And I would put that on things more than like it's identifying me rather than labeling others. Yeah, I've never understood putting people into boxes and then saying the box defines who you are, you know? That feels pretty exclusive. It sounds like a tale of Beatrix Potter, Jess. All by myself. Don't wanna be all myself. Yes. Okay, those are perfect words, Kate. I absolutely do not claim ownership on you. Except, like, we're totally friends and, like, don't try to claim otherwise, people. Anybody who's here is my friend. I don't even like the, like when people say, like, in my real life, and I'm like, well, this is my real life. Like, you guys are my real life. You're not less than, for sure. Just because I haven't met you in person yet. Okay, this is helping me a lot. I'm glad I brought this up. Like I feel very comfortable naming like an event or, my bed and breakfast stitchy place. Um hmm, that's funny because I don't often talk about my subscriber count at all. Not because I'm not aware of what it is, but because I'm like, it's weird to me. It is weird to me. But when I talk about you guys, I talk about you guys by name. I absolutely do. Like Kaylin can name many of you and say things about you guys. Um, but that doesn't make those of you who are um, lurkers like any less. That's the thing. I'm like, you're still here. You're still getting what you need out of being here. And I think that's perfect. I think that's pretty perfect. Well, suddenly, putting videos out there means the people that can come across you is much wider. You're more likely to find the people who are your people, like who find in you some kind of kindredship. But Jess, we can't watch your videos if you don't make them. It's relatable. I don't think you apologize a lot for it either. It's more like, this is just life. Like a train wreck and you can't look away. Like morbid fascination. It's more like I just feel completely comfortable and like I think that's a good thing. I never get to say anything else. Oh wait, I need to get this one down here first. think we also all have like our own flavors of like what a hot mess looks like. Um, and and so some of them we just relate to more than others, you know? It's okay to normalize that a little bit, right? Because that is life. It's normal anyway. We don't live in a like social media perfection state. But we do love sharing our enjoyment of stitching together and other creative endeavors. Not everything needs to be public, honey. Right? You're like, I'm just going to keep that part private. Thanks. Okay, thanks. Bye. My nose is cold. Nobody's gonna know. We all get to make that decision on what we're going to share, and then that's it. That's all we need to, right? I like that here we can talk about anything, but we don't have to. Like, we're not here just to, like, to only say the happy things. But neither are we here to complain. Like, we're here to, I guess, just acknowledge really what it is. It's like acknowledging and I suppose validating that your feelings exist on whatever it is. Like, it's not my job to say that, like, you're crazy or something other judginess, but I mean, if you want to judge, if you want me to judge you, like, good luck. I don't know. But that's not what we're here for. We're just here to, I guess, share life, not make it harder. But just so we're clear, I have not washed dishes since before I went to Stitch West. I also have barely used any dishes since then. So there's that. I haven't been to the grocery store. I have hardly done any cleaning. I've also barely been home. So, hi, Samoya. But I'm not showing you any of that, right? Like, I'll say that those things exist, but I don't need to show you the shame. I don't feel shameful, but you know what I mean? Dishes are your downfall. Like, why are there always dirty dishes? I I don't even have a house full of kids. I have one child and I have a brother. I can't even say that I have a house full of kids. I feel like the repetitive things, like, they never feel done, and that's what makes them hard. Dishes, laundry, cleaning bathrooms, like vacuuming, they're never done. Thanks for hanging out, Anna, and congratulations on your 24 hours. Jess, you got that song stuck in my head. Thank you. All of a sudden, no. I mean, that's not any better than gradual, I suppose, but. Sorry, Jess. I just don't know all the lyrics, so I'm not getting very far in the song. I'm like, it's like the same few bits of the song that is there. And not finding them, yeah. Dong. The other part of the song, though, that keeps going in my brain is the, you know, anymore. That part, just like that line. Except that's not the right key in that. Anymore. I think that's much more correct. Young and unafraid. Just rabbit trail through songs now, why don't we? That's a good tactic, Kate. Let's see, Sierra, I'm actually really quite close. 591 stitches. I will probably finish this thread out and call it good. It looks like I get to stitch in this section. Bridget Jones, like Bridget Jones' Diary, which I have not seen. Not a shocker to anybody, I'm sure. Oh, the prescriptions are the worst to lose. Let me be your star. Oh. You did not lose them. You allowed them to get lost. No, just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Sort of. The next, I don't know what I'm going to work on next, but I'm going to be done filming when I finish this. It's fighting words. Only for you, Jess. Love you. I need to rest before chorale tonight. My body's trying to fight me. So I will probably end up working on Fira though, because now I want to get that one done in a couple weeks rather than in a month and a half. So and it's easy stitching, so that'll be nice. Or I've got a tiny little mill hill I could work on. It's like the tiniest little thing. It's like a 2x3 little like, this is definitely the smallest project I have ever worked on. It's so little. See? Da-da-da. It's almost to the point where I can put in beads, but not quite yet. So it's very close to being done. It's so cute though. Yes, your body does bite you. So you know how you need to take care of it. As best you can. I definitely don't want to be like overtired when I go to corral tonight, when I need to be in charge. Like, so tired. And there we go, 610 stitches. Oh, it'll be fun, but it'll it'll be fun and I'll be fine doing it, but it is just extra tiring to do it. But the conductor's out of town and I'm in charge as the pianist, so okie dokie. I'm gonna take my picture here. Samoya, I'm just really tired. I know I've said this a lot by this point, but I went from a weekend of traveling with Stitch West and then like vet appointments and trying to just do things for 2 days before driving up to New Jersey, going to a concert, and then driving back from New Jersey the next day, and then doing this. It's just been kind of nonstop, and I haven't had the downtime decompression that I normally have. So, there's, I think, an ice cream truck going by. It just said hello. Where is it? Oh, yep, there it is. So random. Anyway, I will be filming a floss tube soon and my Stitch West video. Thank you for being live with me this weekend and hanging out. Much love. Aw, Kate. I'm sorry, but I'm glad we could hang out. So, I do need to do these more often. I really want to. I just haven't figured that one out, so. I will talk to you guys later. Bye, my lovelies. I do refer to you guys as that. Like, you guys are like my lovelies. I hope that's okay. Bye.